the kind of broader mishaps or mistakes and trying to find the right partner. I think I have to say, first is actually not even like coming to the table. Like there are a lot of operators out there that aren't even thinking about asking questions around, is there a different way of doing things than what they're doing today? And if so, what role does I-SNP or other value-based partnerships play in how they think about doing things differently moving forward? And I think that's like the fundamental, like biggest mistake. Like I think I'm in my own little bubble here around I-SNP, but like when I step back and I look at the broader population of individuals that call a skilled nursing facility their home, there's still it's a much small minority that are served by an I-SNP. And so I think the first is just, as an operator, having a willingness to ask questions about these different value-based programs and which one is the right fit for you at this time, or which combination maybe might be the right fit for you at this time. I think that's number one, above and beyond at this stage still. I think number two, then it actually comes down to the partnership. It's the cultural fit is so important. And depending on the size of your group, if you're a singular executive director, wellness director, one building, then you think about that at that level. If you're thinking about it as a regional operator or a national operator, you want to think about cultural fit across that spectrum. Ultimately, though, making sure that there is still that alignment within the communities that are going live with an I-SNP partnership. When you think about partnership, you also have to ask, okay, you've got an I-SNP that's being operated by a health plan, and then there's a provider group. In some instances, like Scan Embrace, they're one and the same. In a lot of instances, they are different. And you really need to make sure you understand that. And it might even be different for each individual building. If you're, say, a regional operator, you have to assess, like, what does this look like in this area versus that area? So I would say that's number two. I would say three is, I think maybe I'm getting this right in terms of priority, but I think three is like, once you've figured out, you've started asking their questions, you feel like you've got a good sense of who you might be working with, then it comes down to, I think the shared savings, the financial opportunity, I think is a real one. If you are showing up as a true partner on the SNF side to the health plan and the provider group, and you're designing what better looks like, you're going to create real value. And you want to make sure that that partner that's coming alongside of you is willing, if there is value, to share that with you. That sharing should be in the form of a shared savings payment or a quality incentive. And I think you want to lean into that, and you want to make sure that your partner is willing to have a candid discussion with you about what is on the table and how that might evolve over time. At the beginning, there's a lot of uncertainty around what will be on the table for shared savings, but if you're doing the right things together, you will generate real value. That real value is going to come in multiple forms, one of which is actually reduction in unnecessary healthcare expenses, which then should flow to you as the operator as additional revenue. I think four, I had five here that came to mind. Four is enrollment. I think once you've made that commitment, maybe 4 and 5 are committed, I think it's the enrollment. Like, to make this work, you have to be, this can't be a side project, which is kind of what I was thinking about was number 5, but like they're tied. Because it is not a side project, you have to be willing to say, there is a substantial portion of my long-term care residents that would benefit from this partnership. And therefore, as a partner, I am willing to come to the table and figure out ultimately how I can create, or share that opportunity to the residents in a way that a substantial portion of your residents should want to come on to this partnership. They should want to sign up with the I-SNP and the care team. And so if you're not at a place where you think that you can get to, a reasonable percentage of your long-term care residents being on this partnership, if you're like, yeah, I can give 1 or 2 of my residents, it's never going to work. You're never going to get the care team in the building enough. your staff is never going to get on board because they're not really engaged. If this individual, nurse practitioner or physician is really only serving one of your 50 long-term care residents, so you have to be willing to make a commitment in which you believe you're creating such a great opportunity and experience for your residents that it's going to be obvious most of them are going to want to sign up. And and I would say if that's not the case, like it's not going to work out. You're going to go 12 months, you're going to go by. You may have only had 3 of your 50 residents that are on it, and no one's really going to be happy.